Welcome, Wrestle Buddies, to the Wrestle Buddy podcast and to our season finale of Journey of a Pro Wrestler with your host, I am Andy, joined by the star of our show, Kid Bandit. How we doing, buddy?
I'm about to open this can of Monster, so it's going to be really, really fun.
You'll regret it when you're older, mate. I'm telling you.
I will. You know what? I will absolutely regret a lot of my life decisions now. I think I might regret wrestling with the way I wrestle, at least with my style. I might feel, I'm feeling it now, and I've only been doing it for less than a year. Yeah.
Well, do you know what? I'm 35 now. 36 I am now, actually. It's my birthday on last Monday. And I used to compete in mixed martial arts, and like now I feel it. I feel like my hips and my legs and just feel all the difference from what it was then to what it is now, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but someone wise once told me that love is sacrifice, Are you willing to sacrifice?
I was gonna say, do you know what? Even when I feel bad now, I don't want bit regret any of it. Not one bit.
Yeah, no, there's a British band. I believe they're called the Struts. Are you familiar with them?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. They did a song that was on NXT Takeover. It could have been me, and I don't know if that plays a lot on your guys' radio. But the lyrics are very apropos for like pursuing a life entertainment. It's like, yeah.
I say hello to my son Ashton. He's in the house. Hi, Ashton. How you doing, buddy? It's me little boy. He's there. He's popping in the chat saying hello. There he is.
Hello.
So this week, mate, literally all we're gonna do, kid, is we're just gonna talk about what your future plans are, what you were planning on doing, and what you think of the current state of certain bits and bobs, rather than have a set process this week. With it being the season finale, it'll be always good just to have a kind of chill out and see what your plans are and stuff like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, what have you got coming up?
I should know this off the top of my head. Hold on. This week I have a show in Vegas, a show in Chicago right after, and then after that, next week I have DPW again, and Pride Style the day before. I have another show coming up, and I just don't know where to, I have so many shows, which is a great problem to have,
Yeah.
I'd rather be forgetting what shows I'm in. And having a hard time keeping track than having no openings, nothing available. I mean, I'm stammering, I'm yammering. No opportunities available. There we go.
Yeah, there you go.
GCW,
so where did you say W and stuff like that? Have you got any plans to go back to the Nightmare Factory or go back training again as well as wrestling, or is it just all now about getting in that ring and getting?
Every time I'm in town, I do try to stop by the factory just because it is a state-of-the-art facility. I like to keep in touch, keep base with some of my peers who, are in the factory. I want to see how people are doing. Carolyn, who was my nutritionist when I was in there, I stay in contact with her. She's basically one of the owners of the school. So, with my upcoming HRT stuff going on, I have been in contact with her just to see if I need to make adjustments regarding the diet, all that stuff, what kind of workouts I'm doing. It's a resource I have, but one of the things I don't want to get, it's weird. It's like a double-edged sword. I have been fortunate that I've blown up in the indies. I do like to think that the Nightmare Factory absolutely is 100% responsible for a lot of the successes I'm enjoying. But now here comes the part. I think I'm reaching a point in my career where it's funny because I've only been doing it for a year, but I'm reaching a point in my career where I don't want to be perceived as only being successful because of the connections I have or because of the way I market myself in social media. I've been very adamant at showcasing my technical wrestling. Not just that, but just my good wrestling in general.
Sorry, and that's what I mean, with the technical wrestling side and stuff like that. You still go and do some practice, or do you just do it all in the ring now?
Yeah, I practice every week under the tutelage of JTG or over at my home gym in Santino's. I keep.
We've actually got JTD on the podcast tomorrow.
Really? Tell Coach I
Yeah.
said hi. Yeah, he did. I mean, it's funny. I've shared 2 shows with them so far, very, very recently. Then I'm sharing another one with them in DPW. So I think that's pretty cool.
Oh no, he's a good man. So I'm glad. I'm looking forward to speaking to him.
Yeah, he is. I mean, I don't know if he wants me to share this, but this is a good thing, so I'm just gonna share it anyway. But we don't pay him to train us. He just wants to give back to the community, you know. Like we pay to rent the ring, and we come together. All the people that he teaches, we come together and be like, "Hey, coach, can we pay you? Because like we're learning so much. Like this is like every session with him is like a seminar." You know, it's like I learned so much in like 5 minutes. But you know, but because he's such a sweet human being, I don't think he wants to charge us yet. I think he's building up to that, but I'll absolutely will pay. You know, so sorry, coach, blew the cover on that, but you know, I'm putting you over at least.
I'll pull them on that tomorrow. So, do you know when you've got like GCW coming up, you've got a few other bits and bobs you're doing. Have you got any plans on going back to AEW? Have you spoke to them at all? Because I know obviously you were there for a while, and then you know.
Yeah, I wish that was up to me. If it was up to me, I'd be in AEW right now. I'd be like, yo, what's up, Sonny? Yo, what's up, Nyla? I want to hang out with y'all. Serpentico, Luther, how y'all doing? You know, I don't actually know if I'm in their radar. I hope I am. I was trending on Twitter worldwide for a while. Like, you know, Kid Bandit was trending on Twitter the same time NXT was playing. So that means me, an independent wrestler, was able to beat an entire brand in one day. Like I like that the gravitas of that was like not lost in me, and that I mean obviously not single-handedly, but like I was training. It wasn't like a promotion. It wasn't GCW training. It was just Kid Bandit, and I was like, what the hell is going on? Yeah. So,
and that's the thing is as well, is it's not just down to your wrestling and stuff that you're trending. You're kind of like an inspiration for a lot of people, aren't you, with the pictures that you put up, and you know the styles you hear, and your dress sense and everything else that goes along with it. And it, you know, you can see a lot of people are inspired by that, aren't they?
Yeah, and I love it, but I also, the artist in me, not like I really don't want to sound ungrateful for all the support, because I am very grateful for it. In fact, I'm intoxicated with like all the support people give me, because it's amazing. I've never really had that before. I've never seen it either in anybody else, to have such a loyal, dedicated fan base. Like maybe Danhausen, you know.
Yeah.
Or Warhorse, or Effie, you know, or MV Young, who I just met over the weekend. Like my fan base is very vocal. I love it, but it's also become one of those things where, as I stated earlier, I want to be undeniably great in the ring. So I try not to rely on my fan base as much when it comes to like getting to places. So when AEW comes back calling, I want it not because people made noise. If that's the case, then by all means, I'm not going to say no to the opportunity. But I do want to get to the mountain and earn my way there, just like everybody else. And that's why I work so hard on the craft.
But the thing is, bringing in your fan base alongside is part of that, isn't it? You know, building the interest and kind of building your own following and bringing them people with you. That's part of this whole journey, isn't it? You know what I mean? Because there's a lot of wrestlers out there that are good wrestlers. They're not bad wrestlers and stuff, but they don't have that fan base and they don't have that kind of other side to the wrestling. Because let's face it, it's not all about what you do in the ring. It's your whole, it's the complete package, isn't it?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. But it's hard. I think it's hard in the indies. In my case, like I guess the illusion is that I have a huge following, and I do. I like to think I do, but they're scattered all over the place. It's not confined to this general area. So if I go to like let's say I go to North Dakota, which I did last Thursday, I did Time Bomb Pro, and that was a great show. I had a couple of people who went there just for me, and I'm really appreciative about that. but I was also more or less relatively unknown, unless like people did the due diligence to seek out like what's going on, who's in the show, all that jazz. So a lot of it's like finding roots to build the fan base out of. I'm from Southern California. I live in LA, but I'm not booked in LA as much as I'd like, which I guess I understand why. Because you know, I'm not like my presence is mostly online, which I'm grateful for, but it does present a different different challenges in terms of what I do in wrestling itself, because I did notice that a lot of my fans aren't even into me because of wrestling. They like they like to see the journey, the person behind the character. They want to see that, and by all means, I'm not gonna alienate those people. But in terms of like the business aspect of, you know, or the platform I'm using it on, like it's a lot of like Xavier Woods. They're a wrestler first and foremost, but I feel like because of their crossover appeal to like geek culture, a lot of their fan base is a lot not really into wrestling, or maybe have a passing knowledge of it. So I think that's what's happening to me. I'm grateful for it, but as far as like how I want to use that to further my wrestling career, you know, the artist in me is dedicated to like perfecting the craft. That way, like people understand that, yo, I didn't get to this point because I was a viral sensation. I didn't get to this point because I knew Cody or got trained by Cody or QT, or I didn't get to this point because I'm transitioning. I got here because I'm really, really good at wrestling, and that's why I'm always working on it.
And when you see you transition and stuff like that, is that do you class yourself as non-binary, or is it? Yeah. And is that something that you're wanting to transition into?
I do. I think the easiest way to answer that is I think gender affirming treatment for me would just feminize a lot of like aspects of me, as it were. I do think somewhere down the line I would definitely consider a full transition, just because I feel like that might make me feel a lot better and whole, and it absolutely has. Like embracing that and going public with that and just telling people I'm doing it, like that's definitely helped me mentally. And yeah, I have naysayers. I have a lot of people. I feel like a lot of people look at it as like, oh, they're just trying to get like attention for themselves. And yeah, absolutely. I'm not going to say no and say I'm not trying to get more eyes on Kid Bandit. And if that's the way I have to do it, then by all means, I'm not going to shy away from that. But I do want to like say that I will try to go about it as tactful as possible, because I understand the nature of entertainment. It's clout chasing. We're all clout chasers in the end. Sorry to burst everyone's bubble. We are all clout chasers. But there's good clout and there's bad clout. And there's a good tactful way to approach getting attention to you. I like to think that the way I'm approaching is, yes, I am expressing like my insecurities and my fears and my vulnerabilities to the world. And yes, that does bring a level of like, you know, difference with the way I portray myself with my contemporaries who like to portray they're invincible, they're tough. Whereas with me, I'm very
keyboard warriors.
Yeah. I try to get people to relate to my struggles, and absolutely that is the goal, because sometimes people need that, and seeing role models. And it's taken me a long time to acknowledge that I may be a role model to some people.
Yeah. And the thing is, do you know what, mate? Even if it's one person, that there's somebody better off in the world for you, for what you're doing for yourself and making you happy, is worth, you know, more than anything else. But also, you know, if that one person sees that and goes, well, he's brave enough to do this, and, you know, we go across all this thing and do this transition like he wants to, then no, I can do that as well. And to me, that's, you know, that's just amazing.
I debated on going public, solely because of the scrutiny I'll face, because people might not take me as serious, because they might think that, oh, that was the only reason why Kid Bandit's over, because they're doing that. And
No
then
disrespect, look, Nyla, people take her very serious. You know, I do myself. I'll be totally honest with you. I don't even kind of realise anything different.
Yeah,
You know
and
what I mean?
think
I don't.
that's the goal, because
Yeah.
okay, when I step into the ring, I'm the anime protagonist, Kid Bandit. Outside of that, it's a very different story. I never really put my sexual identity, or I've never even talked about, like, with the exception of like podcasts like this or interviews, I never bring up my HRT transition. I never bring up being non-binary in wrestling. Not that I condemn, or not that I don't condone people who are very proud of their identity doing that. By all means, like, yes, please do that. But with me, I separate my wrestling from my life identity, just because, like I said, the artist in me doesn't want to use that as a crutch.
No.
And I that's more of a personal thing. I'm not shy about
the one thing I say though is you should always remember, never use it as a crutch, but fucking wear it as a badge.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah. But I try to separate that from the wrestling, just because. And this is a personal take. This might there might be people that disagree with it, but a lot of like my LGBT peers who are in wrestling have always been looked down on, because for a while we portrayed a very caricature, flamboyant. If you were gay in wrestling, you're very colorful, and I'm not doing anybody any favors with this here, right? But that's how it was, and it didn't break my heart, not necessarily, but it did kind of like make me think, oh wow, like, is that what everyone sees us as? And it's hard to like, and like I love that personally, I love that, but growing up and having friends who were homophobic kind of like dismiss the abilities of like LGBT wrestlers or athletes in general, and saying, oh, they're just a sideshow act. That made me kind of made it kind of my mission to like, I'm gonna get to the top because I'm good. Not because I'm this way, not because I'm that way, but because I'm good. And then hopefully people who follow along in that journey will see that that's a separate layer of me that I'm also proud of. It might not be directly intertwined with my wrestling, but it's there. I will wear it like a badge. I will tell people about it. I talk about it all the time on Twitter.
Well, the thing is, do you know what, mate? I'm not being funny, but people have got to break the wheel. I know it's 2022 and kind of, it's a lot more acceptable nowadays, and people see, which, to be fair, when I see the word acceptable, it should be just fucking normal. There's no such thing as acceptable to me. It's everybody's got their own path, and that's their choice to choose. They can be what they want. But the mindset of people nowadays, it is changing, and it's thingy. But that's because of people in the past, and with the likes of you standing up for this and kind of moving forwards with it and stuff like that, you're moving it on to the next phase now. So instead of it becoming acceptable, as they say, by you doing what you're doing and people like you doing what you're doing, is like you're taking it to the level where it's it becomes normal. It's not just acceptable, it's the norm. As you said, they're the flamboyant people, go the flamboyant, and that, as you said, I want to change that, and that's what we need. That's what we need in this world. There's more people like that, whether it's race as well, people changing the way that they see race and stuff like that. It's down to people over the years who are changing people's minds on these subjects that need to be addressed.
Yeah,
so,
and I think I misspoke. I absolutely have no problem with the flamboyant aspect of the presentation. Like, I think that's cool. Like, I'm drawn to that. But
but you shouldn't be pigeonholed, should you? Is that what you're trying to say?
I think
it's like
you hit the nail on the head. I don't want to be pigeonholed to that. So, because for me, the character I portray, the brand I'm trying to build, it's a certain way. I don't want to be pigeonholed to that, I don't want to be beholden to being nothing but that, because artists, as you yourself, you're a martial artist. You don't want to be confined to a specific style. You want to be free to go about your own business, take what you like and use it. Discard what you don't think is useful, but you want to know it all.
Well, that was the whole reason why I chose mixed martial arts, because of the fact that you can change it. You know, you're picking up different parts of the martial arts and making your own style, rather than just going, okay, I'm going to go down this one, or you know what I mean? You can pick bits from everywhere and use it in a certain style, which is good. But as I say, you know, it's the right way to go about it, mate. And I think the other thing is where you say with like the flamboyant, where you don't want to be pigeonholed. It's like, if you want to use the flamboyant, you should be allowed to use it. But, you know, the thing is, by trying to, you know, as you say, trying to use technical wrestling and your ability and stuff like that, it's going to change the mind, because I bet you there's still promoters out there, and, you know, I'm not going to name who, because I don't really know, but these people out there who somebody walks into, like, for instance, I'd walk into the locker room, I'm 6'3", I've got an army crew because, you know, I'm English, and then we turn around and go, he's the English gentleman because he's English, do you know what I mean? And then you come in and they go flamboyant, and they don't even friggin' know you, they don't even know what you style, do you know what I mean? And that's kind of like, you know, by you doing that and trying to get it will change it. Do you know what I mean? What, you know, whether that takes a while or it will change it in the end.
Yeah, and this,
you know, look at the likes of Rey Mysterio, Eddie Guerrero, Chris Jericho. Back in the day, little guy was cruiserweight. You know what I mean? Or bottom of the card. No, you know, back in the 80s and the 90s, no, the early 90s, should I say, people never seen these type of guys could be top of main event in WrestleMania and being champions. They just seen them as the little guys and kind of fobbed them off down the card. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where now look at the difference nowadays because of them.
Yeah, and if you really look into it, like those like smaller guys who were around back in the day, like Ray, Jeff Hardy, Chris Jericho, they're still around.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're like Rock is gone, Stone Cold's gone, Taker's gone, Kane is gone. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm sorry, Glenn Jacobs. You know, all these wrestlers, the big draw. But Jeff is still jumping off stuff. Ray's still around. Hell, Ray is the cover for the freaking.
It's his 20-year anniversary, isn't it?
Yeah, about time, right? You know, like about time. I actually genuinely was elated when Ray became the cover, because I was like, yeah, I got no problems with that. You know?
I was made up myself, to be honest with you. Warren Davis / Johnny Bates said had to come out of jail to come and watch Kid Bandit. So he's here to watch. Hi Warren, how you doing? So just before we finish off on that, mate, obviously, you know, Cody left WWE recently, and what do you think of that whole situation? And do you think there's been a lot of rumours that it's a work and that he's not actually left AEW, but they're playing out this long storyline and stuff like that. What's your thoughts on that? Yeah.
Okay. So, disclaimer. Yes, I do sometimes talk to Cody as my coach. No, I do not know what their plans are. Everything I say in this interview is not a spoiler. This is just me, Kid Bandit, the Mark, enjoying fantasy booking.
Yeah.
Because guess what? I was in a bunch of e-feds. I do this all the time. Here we go. Sorry, I'm going to get really into it, right?
Go on, go for it.
Cody left AEW. Tony Khan bought Ring of Honor. Ring of Honor is not AEW. When Cody left the Fed, a.k.a. WWE, the very first time, where did he make his name in? New Japan and Ring of Honor. In fact, Cody's involvement with the Bullet Club in New Japan was very instrumental in like showcasing indie wrestling and Bullet Club with the American audience. Yes, Kenny's 7-star bouts with Okada was just as instrumental, but it was Cody's very outspoken like revolution mentality when he was with Ring of Honor. That's what made indie wrestling so different and cool in a time where I feel like a lot of people weren't really gravitating to that. Like we had NXT. NXT was basically the biggest indie fed, if we're being honest. Mm-hmm. So seeing Cody just do that for Ring of Honor, you know, that's amazing, right? Mm-hmm. You know, that like they're like, I want to say they're the reason why you see Bullet Club shirts all over the place and Hot Topic in America, them
All
and the
In.
Young Bucks.
You know, everyone keeps mentioning now the fact that Tony Khan actually owns All In, which was the start of AEW as well, doesn't he?
Yep, Ring of Honor is very, very responsible for the creation of All Elite Wrestling. Now that it's under Tony Khan's banner, and Cody, upon their departure, didn't seem like they wanted to like kick the door on their way out. Nah, they were like, thanks, see y'all later.
Yeah,
and suddenly it's like Ring of Honor is under Tony Khan's control. Cody Rhodes has a very, very good history with Ring of Honor. The mark in me is like, and if this comes true, I'd be very elated, but this is not a spoiler. Please, I am not the leak. I don't call Dave Meltzer and tell them everything going on because I don't know what's going on. I am enjoying the ride like everybody else. That sounds like something someone who spoils things would say. No, I don't know. And that's why I'm really hyped because I'm really excited for this, So that's my theory. But it's just a theory, a wrestling theory. All right, I'll stop.
See, do you know what? I was interested because I thought on the Pat McAfee. Do you know Vince McMahon was on Pat McAfee today?
I don't really watch anything WWE, really.
No, well, Pat McAfee, Vince McMahon was on the Pat McAfee show. Really good podcast. You should go and check it out. Really, really good. And on the I haven't watched that interview yet. It's something I'm going to watch in a little while. But I normally watch Pat McAfee. He had Brock Lesnar on there the other week, and it was a great interview.
Yes, I did see bits and pieces of that.
Yeah, but anyway, I thought to myself, if Vince hadn't had any contact with Cody, then with it being AEW's pay-per-view weekend and kind of being a bit, maybe fire something out there, I was just under the assumption that he might have turned around and said something on this interview, but I don't believe he said anything. So it makes me think there could be legs to the fact. And obviously, if you look at WWE at present, they haven't got a lot of stars. They've got stars, but they need fresh stuff coming in. And NXT isn't sharing it out quick enough. And they're not known for going and signing other talent from other promotions and stuff, are they? So, someone like Cody would give a really good injection into there, wouldn't he?
He would definitely bring adrenaline to the WWE soul if it was to come. But if there was a time, that would be for Mania. Big eyes on WrestleMania if Cody was there. But we are now in the month of March. There's 3 weeks for WWE to hype up WrestleMania. And unfortunately, with the exception of like Lesnar versus Reigns that we've seen main event so many times, there isn't really much going on in this year's card that makes me very excited for it. I guess Finn Balor and Ricochet being a little bit more, but like...
Well, Finn Balor's now the US champion now, isn't he?
Yeah, I saw that. So... it's hard for me to keep track because one of my loyalties, AEW gave me a shot. And I know it's not a war, but it is kind of a war, isn't it? Like, it's not the level of WCW, WWE where it's like shot after shot after shot. No, it's more like there's an alternative now, and the alternative is like really getting a lot of steam, and I prefer the alternative.
That's it. And I have to watch everything, mate. So, sometimes I'm sitting there and I'm just like, what's going on here? What's next?
Absolutely. I feel you.
It's just a lot of wrestling. But at the same time, do you know what? I was saying this to one of the guys the other day. Is like, there's a lot of wrestling to keep up with and watch, but I don't really feel like it's a bad thing.
I don't think it is either. I think... Like if there's a lot of cake and you like cake, you're not gonna complain that there's a lot of flavors, especially if you find the flavor that you like anyway. But like we could be living in like a time period where there's only one wrestling company.
But this is what I mean. If you're talking about cake, if you want an analogy of cake, is like, for a long time there was only one cake. And if you eat the one cake for so long, sometimes it becomes a bit sickly, or you get fed up of eating the same thing. Where at the moment, I feel like I've got cake one day, I've got an eclair the next, I've got a jam donut the next day. There's these different varieties and different things out there, and that's what I'm liking about the whole wrestling like scene at the moment. Is it feels like there's not that one flavor, or you know what I'm saying, don't you?
Absolutely, and I think that a lot of wrestling just benefits everyone involved in the business, because if you told me that at 2022 I would have been wrestling, I can't spoil it. Almost did. But in 2022, if you told me that I was gonna wrestle multiple ex-WWE wrestlers, I beat one. I beat Ho Ho Lun. You know, I'm like, yo, Ho Ho Lun was a 205 NXT. I beat Ho Ho Lun. That's pretty cool. Like, you know, I did wrestle Cody, you know, Fuego Dos. No, yeah, they're not the same person, I think. I don't know, but there's a rumor that they are. I feel like, you know, it elevates my stock immensely, because I debuted in my very first debut in AEW. The main event was Bryan Danielson. I thought, whoa, like, you know, this elevates a lot of my stock. And if I'm being honest, it's one of those things where I'm just like, wow, like.
Yeah. Well, kids, we're going to wrap it up there, mate, and thank you so much for doing this series with us. It's been an absolute blast, and I've loved every minute of it. You've been a fantastic guest, and, you know, hopefully we'll be able to do a season 2 of this once we get a bit more down the journey line. Just for the guys, one more time, where can they find you all on social media, keep up to date with your dates and where you're going, and where have you got coming up so people can look for tickets?
Kiddbanditpro at everything. Makes it easier. With 2 D's. Yeah. Double D's. Yeah.
And what have we got coming up at the moment, wrestling wise?
I mentioned earlier, I got a couple of, I'm going back to DPW. Pride Styles coming up. GCW, Big Gay Brunch. I'm in there. I'll be there in Mania weekend, so I might be in multiple shows. If not, that's cool. I like walking around being a fan regardless, you know, so it's fun. Grateful to have all these opportunities right from the get-go.
Brilliant. All right, well, kids, thanks so much, mate. I really appreciate it. And as I said, hopefully we can do season 2 and we can keep on this journey with you and keep on seeing where we're progressing to and how you're doing and stuff like that. But thanks very much. But guys, thanks so much for joining us for the series. It's been an absolute blast. I say it's been one of my favourite things that I've done it week in, week out. You've been a fantastic guest, and hopefully we can do it again. But guys, like to give us a thumbs up, like and subscribe to the channel. Go and follow Kid over on Twitter. He's very, very active over there. And, you know, I always hear people complain about wrestlers not being active on social media. Well, you got one here who's very, very active. So let's get over there and go and support him. And
I'm way too active.
Yeah. There's never such thing as way too active, mate. Well, until next time, Wrestle Buddies, I say join us tomorrow. We'll be with Kids Coach JCG. We'll be here at 9 p.m. UK time, and whatever time it is in your part of the world, I'm sure you got Google checking out. But until then, Wrestle Buddies, take care, and we'll see you again soon. Bye.